Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming by today. This is going to be a very long-awaited video, and I tried filming it once before, but it felt very stiff of me just answering your questions about working at Sephora. So I thought I would do it with a get ready with me, because I thought if you are watching this video, you are interested at things at Sephora. And so all the things that I'll be using today on my face are things that are newer to me, things that you can buy at Sephora. So I thought maybe I could do two things at once, and it also makes me a little bit more comfortable about talking about work-related things. I do have to do a disclaimer, is that I just work for Sephora. This is not like a Sephora sponsored video. Sephora doesn't even know I'm doing this. So if I say things, please take it with a grain of salt. So every Sephora is different. There's different people working there, and they may have different opinions on things. So this is just my experience and how it's working out for me. So again, this is not like a Sephora sponsored video. I am just an employee there, and you guys have been asking for a long time for me to make this video, so that's what we're going to do today. I did ask you guys to give me questions, and you definitely delivered, so I will answer them all. And if you have more, let me know down in the comments below, because I wouldn't mind doing a second one of these. I know you guys are very curious. So I'm going to start off with the get ready with me, and then I'll sprinkle some questions in. So first off, we are going to use some primer. And I have been using the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer. It's this one here. And I've heard mixed reviews online from a lot of the girls at work. Love it. They love using it on clients because it does a great blurring effect. It just really just smooths out your whole entire face. I can understand it not being for everybody. If you don't like that silicone feel, you won't like this, but I do. I also know if you have super dry patches, it's not going to be your friend. So if you have, like, for me, I have dry patches around my nose sometimes, and it just breaks apart really easily on dry skin. So I feel like the most common question that you guys ask is, what's my favorite and least favorite thing about working there? I've gotten this question numerous times over the years, and I have to say my favorite thing about working there is just the amount of knowledge that is available to you. There's so much education, and they're all about just teaching us and helping us learn, helping us grow. And so I feel like probably 90% of what I know about beauty and skincare I learned at work. When I first started, I didn't know anything. I actually didn't have any makeup experience whatsoever. I'd never gone to school for it. I didn't even wear a ton. I had a ton of customer service experience, and I had a lot of leadership experience, so I was able to get my foot in the door relatively quickly. But I will say that I had no makeup experience, and they don't mind that. Like, you will grow within, you will learn so much. So I have to say that's my favorite thing working at Sephora, from learning every day. We watch a video of a certain brand, so we have that for education. We have just talking with brand representatives. We go to clusters with other stores. We go to seminars. There's people that come to us, and we have classes in stores. So there are just so many different opportunities for learning, and I absolutely love that about working there. For foundation today, I'm using the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation. It has SPF 15, really light coverage, but I feel like my skin just feels happy when I'm using it, and it's one of the few foundations that I have right now that are actually my color. I feel like I'm all over the place with my shade, but I have the shade in Sand. And I'm just going to use my fingers for this because I feel like it just blends well that way. It's also a very liquidy foundation, so I feel like with a brush it just soaks it up. Even if you do a synthetic brush, like, I feel like half my foundation is lost because it's so thin. So I've also gotten asked, like, what's my least favorite thing about working at Sephora? I would definitely say when a client is upset with you, when it's nothing in your control. That can be really frustrating because they think just because we sell the brand means that we make all the decisions for the brand, when we don't. So if a brand changes the formula, that's not our issue. Like, that's something we could control. Or if it's like the brand decides to just discontinue something, that's not in our control. If you're shopping on a Saturday and it's super busy and you're wanting some help right away, but we don't have enough people to assist you, like, that's even things that we can't control. We can't control the traffic flow, so, or how many people need assistance that day, or even how many people want appointments that day and you all want it at the same time. Like, those are things we can't control. So it can be really frustrating because it's not our fault. We are just people who work there, and I think clients can take it a little bit too far and kind of feel like Sephora's out to get them, even though a lot of it is either the brand's decision or some things it's just like just how it is. It is what it is. Like I always say that at work, like it is what it is. It's busy. Sorry we can't help every single person. We do our best, but of course we can't control the traffic flow. So concealer, I'm using my favorite, of course. This is the Sephora Collection Bright Future Gel Serum Concealer. You guys know I love this. I have the shade in number 3 currently. I'm just gonna put that underneath my eyes. So another question I get asked frequently is how do I deal with a difficult client? And I feel like it's depends on the situation. I mean, sometimes it's just a client that's having a bad day and whatever you say, you can't fix it. So you just have to take it with a grain of salt. It's probably something they may have been dealing with. Also, I'm someone who has been in the retail industry a while. I've been in the retail industry, 15 or so years now. So it's been a while that I've had to deal with these types of situations. So I feel like it just comes with practice of just being nice and friendly and doing what you can in the situation. Sometimes you ask another associate to help you out. Maybe they will hit it off with a client better than you. Also just explaining some things, like if it is something that's out of our control, like your brand decide to drop a product, just explaining that the reasoning why they may have, or other ways to fix the situation, maybe introducing them to something else, but try to do what you can control. So, right, now moving into some questions right here on this piece of paper. I also have to apologize for the stupid leaf blower outside. He's by like all day long. I can't control that. So, sorry if you are hearing some buzzing. Anyway, so how well are staff able to color match foundation as well as help with the type that is best for you? Is there any formal training on those types of things? I will answer that and then be setting my face with the Perfect setting powder from Cover FX. So Sephora does do a lot of training. When you first get on, you probably don't start in store like a few weeks after you're hired because there is a lot of training that goes on. So if you are in the color world, you do get a lot of 101 training. So it kind of teaches you the basics, and then you go into 201 training for the color world. And so that is a very formal, not so formal. It's kind of like a few shifts worth of just education. You are learning with your senior artists, and they are teaching you all the aspects of doing makeup application. And so the very first thing they really do teach you is skincare and foundation. And so when you're in 201, it's not like a full week, like the whole week all you're doing is training. It's like you work one day and you're learning about foundation, and then you have like the full week to kind of play around with clients, and your senior color artist or one of your other color leads will help guide you through those application processes. And once you are ready, once they have kind of not certified you in each aspect, but they have kind of given you the yes, you're doing a good job, you can do this on your own, that's when you can go further in other aspects of the color world. Obviously, if you have some experience with makeup, they don't mind you doing things on your own. There is a lot of training when it comes to that. If you're ever concerned about the color that they're giving you, it's your face, let them know. If you like things a little bit warmer or whatever, just ask them or get a second opinion. Also, something you may not know is that there are certifications that Sephora color artists have to go through to be a beauty studio artist. So if ever you have a little bit more time, you want like a complexion mini or something that requires you to be at the beauty studio, I would definitely suggest that, because they are the ones who have gone through all the color 201 training. They have gone through all of the certification processes, so they just have a lot more experience, a lot more knowledge. For bronzer today, I'm using the Sephora Collection one that I just purchased. This is the shade in number 2 Light, and we're going to try that out. That's what it looks like. They have a good understanding of what works for you. Obviously, there are some things that just happen. So for instance, most foundations have some type of oxidation, and so what may look right on you in store may look different when you get home, and that's perfectly normal. It doesn't necessarily mean it's your artist's fault. I mean, those who are experienced know which foundations oxidize a little bit more. But I know a lot of the color artists in our store would tell the client that and then maybe just give them a sample so they can see how it wears on them at home. Or they'll let them walk around a bit, maybe go to another store and come back and see how it works. And so that way they can see if did it oxidize on them. And those are some things that, again, some more experienced artists already know. Like one of our senior color artist, she knows like what foundation, every single foundation, like how much it oxidizes. Is it half a shade? Is it 2 shades? Like some of them know their stuff, and I have to just say again, like if you are really concerned about what you're wearing isn't working, just let them know, because again, things happen, or maybe it's just not working with your skin type, maybe you're getting a reaction, that type of thing. So yes, there is a ton of formal training when it comes to foundation matches. Obviously, those who are just starting out aren't going to get the experience unless they help. So for blush today, I'm using the Mood Exposure from Hourglass. I feel like this is one that I've been avoiding in my collection for some reason. Moving on, what's your sample policy? And that is a kind of gray area. I know a lot of Sephora's use the 3 limit. And I would have to agree with that, is that normally 3 is what we recommend, and it's not necessarily because we don't like making samples, but it's more just to see so you can know when you're home which products worked for you and which ones didn't. I just know from my own personal experience that if I have more than a few samples and I get a reaction, I want to know which product it was so I can narrow down the ingredients, narrow down what thing didn't work for me. And sometimes when you give them 4 or 5 different samples, they have no clue. They get home, they may have a reaction to something, and then they're clueless of which one it was because they were trying so many different things. So I normally stick to the 3 rule, especially in the skincare area. I'm pretty much dead set against giving more than 3, especially since there are so many ways that you can have reactions to your face, whether it's making you break out, maybe you're getting a rash, maybe it just made you really oily. Like, those are all different aspects of trying out a new product, and I want to make sure you know which product it was that didn't work. So it's normally is 3, but of course it just depends on the situation. If you are having a good experience with one of your cast members that's helping you and you want like a fragrance sample as well as your 3 skincare samples, like we normally don't mind. So again, just really depends. So the next question is, what is the best time of year to purchase from Sephora to stock up on goodies? And that would be 2 times a year. There are Beauty Insider discounts, and they normally happen one in spring and one in the fall towards Christmas. And we never know the exact date until like maybe a week beforehand, and we don't normally know the details of it until a week beforehand. So it's not like it's like this big old secret that we're keeping from you for months at a time. Like a lot of times we don't know. And so, but I would say usually around April, and then usually somewhere around November or the first week of December. So that would be the best time to check your email, because now I don't think they're doing any more mail like invitations to get the discounts. I think that's only through your email. So if you did opt out of your emails, you're most likely not going to receive your discounts. So that's just something to know. The highlight I'm using today is my Becca Champagne Pop. Have you ever... This one is from a friend of mine, Kristen K, that I have here on YouTube, and she said, have you ever seen a coworker do a makeup for her where it didn't turn out so well? She had one that did not go so great. And that would be no. A lot of my coworkers who work in color and they're beauty studio artists have been in Sephora for years, and they have just a lot of experience, and a lot of them are already beauticians or cosmetologists, I think is what you'd call it, before they even got into Sephora. So they just have a ton of experience, so much knowledge, and so I really can say no, I haven't seen a bad one happen at my location, but I have gone into some locations where the makeup just looks heavy, and not just on clients but on themselves, and I'm just like, ugh, I don't know if I'd want you to do my makeup. So I had definitely seen a bag of makeup, but it's more like not necessarily bad, it's just like not my cup of tea. I don't want to look like a clown or like I'm wearing a mask. So I have seen it in stores, but just not at our location, especially on a client. Normally is, what is your favorite skincare product? A few of you asked me that. I'm going in with my Sweet Peach palette to do my eyes. I'm starting off with White Peach just for a base. And then I'm going to move into Peaches and Cream as a transition. A light orange color from another palette that's no longer available, but it's the only orange I wanted, so sorry, but just as a FYI. So my favorite skincare product would definitely be two things. As for product, it would have to be my moisturizing sorbet from Caudalie. You guys know I have extremely sensitive skin and I get rashes from a lot of different things. I'm allergic to a lot of environmental factors, which makes it so I have rashes if I use a certain ingredient. A lot of it has to do with natural things. So for instance, I'm allergic to echinacea, and so I get rashes from that. And I'm allergic to birch, which you wouldn't think of birch in skincare, but they use it a lot for fragrance inside, like a natural fragrance. So I have to be careful of that. So a lot of times I've gotten reactions, and that is the product that always, always, always gets my skin back. I feel like it's a must-have if you're sensitive skin. It's not going to be the most hydrating, but it's hydrating enough without it being too much. And it has chamomile in there, so it's actually soothing and it's reparative to the damaged skin. So that's why I've been loving it for years since I worked there. I've gone through maybe 4 of those, and so I would have to say yes, that one is definitely my favorite. My other skincare favorite would have to be my C.R.E.A.M, and that's why I'm adding 2, because one is technically a tool, but if it was something that was the most transitioning, is going to be my C.R.E.A.M. It's just so good at helping with texture, really cleaning out your skin. It really just made me think about cleansing my skin. I always thought of it as just like a step I should do, but now I know it's something I have to do, and using my C.R.E.A.M has made a lifetime of difference. I'm going to use just a light orange shade that I don't have in my Sweet Peach palette, and I'm going to use that in my crease. So next we have, how is the growing inside of Sephora? How about to do makeup application? Can anyone work there? Do it. Again, they do have to have certifications to do custom makeovers. Some who are not certified yet are qualified to do mini makeovers, but I know in our location we typically just use our beauty studio artists, who are the ones who are certified, to do makeup applications. So again, if you needed a custom makeover, that's the one that requires a $50 minimum purchase. They do need to have their certification, so they've gone through all the training and all the classes and such to get to that point. So that is no for custom makeovers, but mini makeovers, anyone in the color world can do it. But again, depending on the location, I know for us we do use just our certified artists to do minis. It just works out that way. Most of our color artists actually are certified. They've been there a while, so our store is really old. Our store is around 18, 19 years old, one of the oldest in the country, and so a lot of the girls have, again, been in the industry for a while. So most of our cast in color actually are certified already. And the other question was, how's the growth inside of Sephora? And that is amazing. It's kind of funny you asked that. Let me just tell you a little bit about what I've observed. So when I first started Sephora, I was one of 40 who started during seasonal. 4 of us were the ones who stayed on. Surprisingly, the 4 that stayed on are all still there. So the 4 girls that I actually interviewed with are still with Sephora, and that was 3 years ago. Since then, we've all grown quite a bit, so it's kind of funny because Sephora is really into developing you and getting you to where you want to go. I'm going back into my Sweet Peach palette. I'm going to go ahead and use this peach color right here. And all of us had different areas that we wanted to grow in. I was always into operations and leadership, and then I know others are into more of the senior artistry type aspects, and others were into more of the educational aspects of it, like being an educational lead. And it's funny because it's 3 years later, and I was just observing this the other day with one of my coworkers, is that I am now the recovery lead, so what I wanted to be. And then one of my other girls who was really into education is now the SUVC facilitator, so she's the one who teaches the classes for clients. And then I have another one who is, she's going for her certification to be a senior artist. So it's kind of cool because it's been 3 years and all of us are at where we wanted to be. And there's even just more growth above us. So Sephora is all about just promoting from within, and I've definitely seen that at our store. So that is what I'm looking like right now, in case you're wondering. Next we have, do you work full-time? And that is yes, I do work full-time. If you were working part-time, would you get as much gratis? And gratis really depends on what world you're in. Someone who is in, say, operations probably won't get the same amount of color gratis as someone in color. Or someone who is in skincare will get more skincare gratis than someone in color. So it really depends on what world. As far as how many hours you work, it really doesn't. It really depends on which world you're in. So if you are in color, you will get a lot of color gratis. You may not get as much as like a senior artist or one of the beauty studio coordinators, but you will still get way more than you will ever use. So as far as gratis, you may get less if you work part-time, but you'll still get a ton. I'm using this caramelized color in the crease. I'm just really building this up to be just like warm. There is going to be a little twist on this look. At least I hope it works out. Now again, I'm not in color, so this is really not a tutorial. It's more of just me playing with makeup and talking to you guys. So the next question is, what was the interview process like at Sephora? And that is really long. So you can have up to 7 different interviews getting into the door. I personally had 4. I had a phone interview, and then I had a group interview, and then I had another private interview with 2 other ladies, and then I had a 4th interview with the store manager. And that was just to be a seasonal person. If you're going for a leadership role, it's going to be even more. Like, I know we just got a new store manager this past week, and she had 7 interviews getting into Sephora. So it's definitely a long process. I know someone else asked for application tips, and that is to really promote yourself as a customer service person, not necessarily a makeup artist. Again, I had no makeup experience going into Sephora, but I had a lot of customer service, and I had a lot of leadership experience, and so that's what I used on my application, was promoting that and what my strengths are. And then I did say at the end that I did have an interest in beauty. 9 times out of 10, those are the people that we look for. If you just write on your application that you love Sephora, you love working with makeup and all this stuff, using that as your key selling point, it's kind of like a, yeah, duh, we know that you like Sephora, we know that you like makeup because you're applying here. It's kind of like if you were a chef and you were applying for a chef position at some place, and they were like, well, why do you want to work here? And you're like, well, because I like to cook. It's kind of like, yeah, we know, because you applied to become a chef. So obviously having an interest in makeup is important, but really your job is to sell things. So you really have to promote yourself more as a customer service person first, and then makeup second. So that's just a little tip, at least from what I've seen, especially now that I'm in more of the leadership role. I definitely can say the people who actually promote themselves as a customer service person with good work ethics will 9 times out of 10 win the open position spot than someone who's just like, I like makeup, I like to wear makeup, I love Sephora, I shop here all the time. So just as a little tip. Moving on, what does gratis mean? It is the free things that we get at Sephora. So I'm using my finger with this because it's not really picking up on a brush. This is a new eyeshadow I got from Anastasia. So this is in the shade, let me see, Venice. It's one of the new colors, but I could not pass it up. So hopefully this works out. So yeah, gratis is the free things that we get. Again, a whole bunch of different ways that we get it, as I've said in other gratis videos, is that sometimes it is for a contest, sometimes it's just new things that brands are giving out, so we can learn about them. Sometimes it's just Sephora. Other times it is a brand representative that you trained with for the day. Oh my gosh, the color is so pretty. I'm just going to show you what it's looking like. You see, I know the lighting in this video is not very good, but it's really pretty. If I ever get bored with makeup seeing it every day, and that is no. I am, again, in recovery, so I am the visual person. I am the one who always sees the new things, and seeing the new things never get old. I love looking at newness. I love seeing what products other companies are coming out with, and every day there are new things coming into our store that I get to see first, and it's still just as exciting now as it was then. So that would be a no. I never get bored with it. I absolutely love working there. I need a recommendation for an under eye cover up. She has wrinkles and bags, and the color can't be too light because it will accentuate them. Also has dark circles, so it doesn't have to be, oh, she doesn't have dark circles, so it doesn't have to be thick. So again, I'm not a color artist, but I will say the best eye cream, first off, because I am more of a skincare person, is the triple peptide from Dr. Brandt. It really does help. Obviously, if you are at a mature age, it's not going to be magical, like it's going to take time, but I do know that one you will see results on. As far as concealer, I will say the Anastasia, the new pot ones, or they're not new, they've been around for like a year, but those ones are really, really good. I know a lot of the girls at work have really been loving the new NARS one. Again, I'm not a makeup artist, but those are the ones that I know the girls have been loving. So the mascara that I'll be using, it's the new one from YSL, the Shock. Moving on to, we're just getting almost to the end. What do you think of the new Dior mascara? I think it's gimmicky. I don't like it. I think it's clumpy. It really doesn't do much. So I would say I don't like it. If you are wanting something that's new, as in like just released, again, I do like this one. I don't really like the wand, but I do prefer this YSL, the Shock Mascara, over the Dior. So yeah, not a fan of the new Dior one. Just my, again, personal opinion. And I have a product for benefit. This is the Brow. And I'm just going to use this for my eyebrows today. Last question. Is it strange having makeup that isn't carried by Sephora? And then she talks about how MAC girls always seem to have to mention that they're wearing a MAC product. And that would be, no, it's not weird. I love makeup from all sorts of brands, whether it's drugstore, whether it's things that we don't carry. I do wear them to work, in case you're curious. Most of the times clients don't even ask. I feel like if they do ask, it's more of like what lip color I'm wearing or what's my favorite foundation or something like that. But as for them asking me like what blush are you wearing or whatever, they normally don't. If it is a product that I'm not wearing and they ask me about it, I am honest. I may not tell them to rush out to like CVS and buy the stuff I'm wearing, but a lot of times I'll suggest maybe a product that's similar if they want something that's sold at Sephora. But I mean, Sephora is an unbiased company. They don't want us to favor one brand over another, and so I don't mind having products, and it doesn't feel weird at all. Finally, I'm putting on some lipstick that I just purchased. So this is the Milk Makeup Lip Color in the shade, don't know, it says cream, but I don't know if that's the name of the formula. But it's just a really pretty nude shade. So this is what my makeup is looking like today. Just like a warm orange and aqua eye. So those were all the questions that you guys have asked me, and I hope I answered them all to what you expected. Again, if you have more questions, let me know down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys really soon. If you are new here, I'd love for you to subscribe, hit that button down below, like this video if you enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys really soon. Bye guys!